Dr. G back with segment 3 of our Week 1 Asynchronous Dialogue, Digital Media Literacy. We're going to try to pick up the pace again. This could all, that in and of itself, I'm going to use the negative term here, it could be fake news, right? I could just blither on into infinitum here, infinitum, as they also say. Anyway, Simone notes, in your opinion, as an opinion leader, you flatter me. Give a list of 5 websites that you feel is credible for facts, and 5 sites that state opinions. Okay, let me answer the second part first. The most sites include both fact-based or research-based journalism, information that can be verified using multiple sources, primary source, secondary source, and opinion. Okay, op-eds. These tend to appear both in a lot of, especially when content creators, when websites or news magazines or whatever need quicker and quicker content, and that's where we are shifting in the Twitter age. It's less about I have ensured everything has been factually accredited, and it's more about how quickly can I get my message out there, and how sexy does my title sound so that it functions both as exciting news and clickbait, right? All in one. So most sites include a combination of the two. It is important to understand when you're reading from a strong news source, news proper versus an op-ed, right? Understanding how to identify that is nonetheless crucial. Doesn't make those opinion leaders any less credible. They just might be using more shorthand in the way they talk to us. All right, 5 sites. Gosh and golly. I'm going to just suggest traditional ones, and then we can feel free to go into a debate on these. In fact, our culture has deemed we must debate the legitimacy of these, and that is actually where we come up with some of our problems. Okay, is from the contentious attitudes, toward news media. The New York Times traditionally would be one, with the Washington Post right behind it in terms of traditional journalism ethics. Followed, of course, there will always be human error, and these. And I think of the Times more often have experienced scandal, but it's few and far between. It's like every organization does. They typically note when they are wrong, which is also, that's accountability in and of itself. PBS NewsHour, and particularly maybe even their investigative journalism program Frontline, are of a very high integrity quality. There's the Associated Press, right? The AP, which is typically viewed as one of the most neutral sources there is. And maybe finally, NPR traditionally has a pretty upstanding and outstanding reputation, although there are plenty of troublemaking trolls, TTers, as let's abandon that. That would like to take down any and all of these organizations, right? So, food for thought. We can discuss it more in our classes, right? With your comments. Question from the Denise C. popular culture text is: describe a type of high culture and a type of low culture. Explain why you chose that category for that particular pop art or pop culture form. All right. So think about something like maybe. I'm going to use combinations here, all right? This traditional idea of dressing up in formal attire, going to fine dining establishment before attending the opera, right? That's kind of a trilogy of high culture experiences, right? The expensive clothing, the expensive food and atmosphere, and then the sort of sophisticated artistic ending, Now let's contrast this with a low culture form we could recognize. All right, jeans and a t-shirt, shorts, whatever, open-toed shoes, and then hit the what do you call it, the food court or fast food place in time to make that let's say 9 o'clock movie at the movies, right? And this is absolutely a form of low culture in that traditionally, historically, it's relatively inexpensive. It's called fast food. You're not trying to sit down. You are not sort of reveling in the aesthetics of and the ambiance of place and space. You're not slowing down to taste your food. Maybe you don't want to or need to. And then, the entertainment is relatively affordable. But we've seen these lines blurred, and that's part of Doniesi's overarching point is this. We've shifted from what was once considered, the social rules of modernity, the modern world, to post-modernity, where things are blurred and muddled. And these blurred lines now kind of look like, something like this: food trucks and Netflix. All right. And so you can find people from the high end of the social ladder who will make ridiculous, disgusting amounts of money, all the way down to broke college kids, high school kids, and they will all congregate at food trucks and then go binge watch Netflix and brag about it as if it were this elite cultural experience, when in fact it's just this ubiquitous cultural experience. We're at a point now where everyone does that, so it both carries a cultural cachet, and yet I find it ironic because if everyone is sharing it, then how is it sort of the exclusive experience that we seek to claim it is? And I think it's that exclusivity that we, in seeking an experience, an interaction of some kind or some sort, that we designate maybe as popular culture or a cultural form. It's certainly a mode of cultural exchange. And it comes with these sometimes unspoken rules that can shift, and so it's blurred. But the more we talk about, the more we read about, the more we think about it, the better we understand it, and the more we can recognize how it plays a role in society. And that is important. It's intellectually important and stimulating, but it can also give us an advantage in professional settings, right? So trying to keep that in mind as well. There's I'm not going to get to that one. I'm going to have to wrap up the segment a bit early and hit the recharge button on our battery here. But I want to jump over to a question from Rosalind from the Spencer text. And that is, Spencer makes a statement that no filter exists to separate the websites that assess and vet the credibility from the facts that they present from those websites that do not. Page 5. Second time we've heard that excerpt. So you guys are keying in on that Spencer text. The first question was, do you believe futuristically that there will be filters established to separate credible websites from non-credible websites? Who will want them is the question. I think a lot of us have an Edenic, utopic ideal where we would prefer that, but a couple of problems come into play. There are plenty of, I'm overusing today this term, trolls, but also opportunists that want to cash in on anarchy, right? The chaos, they like stirring the pot because it generates a certain amount of buzz that allows them to kind of, maybe move the needle in certain ways. So there's plenty of people out there that like it being messy. Lawyers, attorneys are an example. They gain a lot of privilege and prestige and thus make a fine living out of being among the few that understand the depths of legal entanglements, right? The bendies to the rules, and the structures and restrictions, the negotiative processes, and all of that benefits them, and then it also sort of specializes them. They become sort of elite experts, right? They've gained expertise in law, and that's not to diminish what they do. Very important roles, but it's to highlight the significance of people always benefit on both sides of a structure, and it's important to think about that and consider the ramifications when we talk about digital culture and the internet in particular. Let's take a quick break. We're going to recharge the batteries, as I said. Be right back with more delicious discussion questions from you all. So sit tight.